It took us 8 years to reach diamond, and it was totally worth it. When you do the things and you keep going and you don't give up on yourself,
So,
magical things happen.
hello, and welcome, friends. My name is Andy Goddard, and I have this crazy belief that you were born to be free. And doTERRA just happens to be the very best vehicle for creating any kind of freedom. It could be financial freedom, health freedom. I just believe in sovereignty. And I love how doTERRA just opens doors and liberates people. And it does it in such a powerful way. So, Natalie and I have been at this for 18 years now. We have a team of amazing producers that we get to partner with. And this is a space where we just get to share success. We share the success stories of people far and wide and all different ranks. And so today we have a very special guest, and I am super excited to get to know Dr. Laura better. Um, she has been in the doTERRA family for a few years. We have a rock star diamond in our presence. So, Dr. Laura, welcome so much, and thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. And tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Ricci, like
Ricci.
Christina
Awesome.
Ricci. Yes. Thank you
Perfect.
for having me. This is so much fun.
It's
And
a
I feel like
pleasure.
I'm one of those people who encourages you to not give up on your dreams and to keep going. I joke that it took us 8 years to reach diamond, and it was totally worth it. When you do the things and you keep going and you don't give up on yourself, some
So
magical things happen. Yeah.
I believe that. So take us back to before doTERRA. Tell us what your life was like. What was it? What were the needs? What were the pain points that drew you in?
So I live in Amarillo, Texas with my husband, Mark, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy by training with a background in women's health and pelvic floor rehabilitation. And I was a burned out, stressed out healthcare
Mm.
professional who was really struggling. I didn't have any boundaries. I was a people pleaser. I always said yes to all the things. And this was back in 2008, 2009. The recession was going on. My husband had lost his job. He is a CPA, and we would always joke death and taxes. And
Mm.
we were just going through a really rough time. So I was taking on more work and working in the clinic and in the hospital and doing all these things. And finally the body whispers to us, and when you ignore those whispers, it starts,
Mhm.
the rebel yells come. It really
Mhm.
starts to get your attention. And I knew in my heart that I couldn't sustain this, that it wasn't for me. But I loved working with people. I loved working with my patients. I didn't like all the red tape and the insurance, and they were cutting my treatment time shorter and shorter and kind of putting up with the bureaucracy of everything, or even as a female physical therapist, not getting paid the same as male physical therapists that have the same training.
Mhm.
There was just a lot of things there. And I started to get sick, and I
Mhm.
actually was diagnosed with an extremely rare cancerous tumor the size of a softball in my abdomen. And I remember treating patients and thinking, I'm pretty sure I need to be the patient on the table right now. Like, what is
Wow.
happening? And I went through a lot of surgeries related to that.
Mm.
But one of them was they had to completely reconstruct my abdominal wall.
Mm.
They had put synthetic mesh in that had herniated, and they said, Laura, we got to take all the mesh out. We got to move your muscles around. Really big surgery. And they were like, physically, your abdomen can't hold through a
Mm.
pregnancy. If you were to get pregnant, it could cause cancer to return. So just a lot of things popping up in my 20s. And I couldn't walk away from that job because I had put so much time, energy, money, resources, all of these things. But after that really big surgery, the surgeon said, you can't work for a year.
Oh.
You cannot lift anything over 5 pounds. We
Mm.
have to let this heal. And so I went through a huge identity crisis of, who am I if I'm not Dr. Laura? Who am I if I'm not treating my patients? And
Mm.
at the same time, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I finally am able to rest. And I
Mm.
remember thinking, how messed up is it that it took a cancer diagnosis for me to be able to go, oh,
Mm.
I can just take care of myself now.
Wow.
And I share because you might be hesitant to reach out to a healthcare professional or somebody who may from the outside looking in seem like they have it all together or life looks really good or they have this degree or this profession or this title, but there could be really tough things going on in their life and their health that we have no idea of. And shortly after that big surgery, I was diagnosed with hip dysplasia and had some major surgeries where they basically break your pelvis in multiple places and build it back together and put large screws in, like bigger than hip replacement because I was so young.
Mm.
And I was the skeptic. I was the healthcare professional that
Mm.
was like, I don't think I need essential oils, but pain is a very motivating factor. And there was somebody teaching a pain and oils class who was a nurse. And I joke and say, I think it took that at the time for me to even be open. And
Mm.
again, I was the skeptic. I only tried two oils, but I was blown away. And then I thought, it's placebo, right? Like,
Mm.
okay. So I get on
Yep.
PubMed, which is what I do on a Friday night, and start to dive down. And I was like, there's so much research validating this. I've seen so many patients addicted to opioids and pain medications and struggling. We have something that's safe. Why are we not talking about this? And
Mm.
so that was kind of my opening to,
Mm.
and I say, I think sometimes you have to go through your own dark night of the soul or be on your knees and to be, and I was deeply, deeply humbled where I tried all the things that Western medicine was offering me and was still struggling. And doTERRA came in as this gift, this thing that I didn't even know that I needed.
Mm.
But I believe in divine timing, and I believe that when you are ready, things will start to show up. And
Mm.
I was the person who swore I will never do this as a business. I actually told her, I will never do this as a business. I'm just here to use these tools. And people started asking me, and I started sharing. So I'm one of those people that didn't come into it gung ho for the business or even understand or have no experience in sales. And it was people asking and it grew. And I started to kind of Google and figure things out and go, oh, how can I help people with this? And it became one of the most amazing, amazing experiences of my life. It's taught me so much. Believe it or not, I was a very, very shy little girl who would hide behind her mom's leg and hated public speaking. And it's helped me to find my voice and to be able, I think, to help people on a bigger scale
Mm.
and serve. And that's been such a joy. I don't know if I fully answered your question or I just
Yeah,
started.
no, that's fantastic. So you people start asking you questions. You
Yeah.
you started sharing, and it just kind of like tell us what were the next steps. I assume that I mean, you got to Diamond, so
Yeah.
something happened between starting to share and tell us more.
This was right around the time, early, what is this, like 2014, 2016, when Facebook Live started coming out.
Mm.
And I started to do videos teaching about the oils. And I started to host an oil class out of our living room right here once a month of just inviting people and teaching and sharing about doTERRA. And I started small, one class a month and one Facebook Live a month. And it gradually started growing. And then I was doing two a month. And then I was doing something every week. And my husband is a CPA, he's a numbers guy. And he was going, we got a check from doTERRA. We got another check from doTERRA. Like, what's happening? I was like, I don't know. I'm just like sharing about this and helping people to get started. And I really didn't know what I was doing in the beginning, but there was a need. And it felt really good to show up and serve in this way and to teach and to give people some options. And that's really how it started growing. I'm more of an introvert. I really love social media as a space and to do videos and virtual trainings. And so that is kind of where I focus a lot of is on social media and mainly growing on Instagram and using that as a tool. But I do see great value in person. Like I kind of feel like it's both.
Hmm.
So doing in-person events, we do that, but we do a lot on social media too. We have a global team. So I kind of feel like you have to find your strengths and your sweet spot and what feels like fun for you and what you enjoy. Because what I've really learned with anything is it's a consistency game
Yeah.
and it's showing up and it's building that trust with your people and helping them to feel safe and also holding space for them. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm going to be here slinging oils in my 90s on a beach somewhere. So when you're ready, like, I'm going to be here. But really just loving on your people. And there's so many different ways to do that. And one of the things that I started within the past year that's been really fun is there's a women's hike. And
Hmm.
we, in our backyard, is Paladero Canyon. It's this hidden gem. It's the second largest canyon in the United States. So if you're ever driving through West Texas, you need to stop at Paladero Canyon. And that has been such a fun outlet, one to just be in nature, but also to be with other women and to connect and talk. And I've helped so many of these women get started with oils, uh, doing things that you love, that you just get to talk to people and have fun has been such a huge thing. So I do, and I share this because coming from burnout, I think some people may feel like, I'm afraid to like go all at it or I'm afraid to burn out again or all these things. So I kind of look at my business as like we have seasons.
Hmm.
And there are seasons to go and do these big scary things. And there are seasons that we need a little bit of more rest and to kind of feel. And so I share this too of if somebody's nervous about doing Silver Club or Diamond Club, there are seasons for that. And that was one of the things that really did help us to go Diamond. We did Diamond Club in 2024, and I was very nervous about it.
Hmm.
I had done Diamond Club in 2020 during the Great Apocalypse, where we everything got shut down. Um, and I had made these big goals and commitments. I had gone to Prague. I had done back to basics. I had committed to Diamond Club and do all the things. And I pushed hard for Diamond Club and Diamond Club and Diamond. And the world completely changed. And
Hmm.
we didn't reach Diamond. And
Hmm.
half our team walked away
Hmm.
because they just didn't feel that it was appropriate to share in during the pandemic with all that's going on, different things.
Hmm.
And the story that I was telling myself was if we do Diamond Club again, people will leave. We're going to
Wow.
lose people. People aren't going to understand.
Hmm.
Um, and I share this because, like, this business, it's been one of the most challenging things that I've ever done, but also the most rewarding.
Hmm.
And the thing that has helped me to grow in so many ways. So, your limiting beliefs, your fears, your biggest concerns are going to come out.
Hmm.
Like you're going to hear think people had told me you shouldn't call yourself Dr. Laura. That's really salesy. That's really gross. You're just doing that to get a sale. Or you'll never understand Laura because you're not a mom after like going through
Hmm.
infertility, cancer journey, or
Uh,
um, man, like you're just doing Diamond Club for you, or these different things will come up. And so there was a deep fear of like, should we do Diamond Club again? What are people going to think? And I will say this, I went all in and I just shared the elephant in the room. And I said, I'm really afraid to do this.
wow.
And I took people with me on the journey. I think I was
Hmm.
afraid if I showed people how much work it would take or what we
Hmm.
do, that people wouldn't want to come. And the opposite happened. I had a whole team that came around, like these miracles and things happen. Um, so the fear, the scary thing is going to keep repeating until I really do believe we have to face our fears head on and start to create. And when you share what you're doing in a vulnerable way of, this is really scary, but I'm going to take a chance on myself, taking people on the journey. And I've done this so many times with weight loss journey or strength training journey or Diamond Club in your business. And you show people behind the scenes, like pulling the curtain back in the Wizard of Oz. And you say, I'm going to do this big scary thing. Come and watch. I may fall flat on my face in front of everybody. or it may be epic. These really cool things happen in your life. So it's don't be afraid to fail and fail
Yeah.
publicly and
Wow.
learn and grow.
Such wisdom. So, I don't know you. Well, like, we haven't interacted much in person, but I have followed you online, and I love the way you show up online. Like, it's so authentic. You're so committed to very authentic, storytelling and making it interesting, and not just like, here's the promos this month. Like, you really make it personal, and you really. So, if people want to follow you, would you mind sharing some of your handles so that they can find you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's just at Dr. Laura Ricci. It's DrLauraRicci.
Perfect.
And I'm in all the places, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much for that. So just a couple of questions. You were sharing that you came across some of your limiting beliefs, and they were different at different times. How did you become aware of those? Like, what was the journey to kind of wake up to those?
When there's so many. That's a really great question, Andy. So, one is when you start to feel the fear, like just noticing and having the awareness of, oh my gosh, this is making me really uncomfortable. And instead of running from it, kind of leaning in towards it a little bit, embracing it and sitting with that and going, why does that make me uncomfortable? Oh, that's really fascinating. I wonder where that's coming from, and just starting to question things a lot because I think your mind, your brain is trying to protect you and keep you safe. And I started just kind of going, oh, that's just a thought. That's not real. That's not necessarily true. Um, so playing out, because I think so much of growth is leaning into the discomfort and training the brain and training your body that it's okay to feel this fear. And we're going to do the thing anyways. We're going to make the call. We're going to send the text. We're going to schedule the class. We're going to go for it with this. Another really helpful thing, I'm a big believer in mindset. I'm a big believer in personal development and using these tools to kind of help us and identify some of these things too. And I'm also a huge believer in therapy. And
Mhm.
if it is available to you, go to
Mhm.
counseling. It's been a huge, huge
Mhm.
eye-opening thing to have somebody else who can also help you to identify fears, limiting beliefs, where you're holding yourself short.
Mhm.
And having a really close inner circle of people that I trust. Again, I'm more of an introvert. I keep my inner circle pretty tight. But people in our lives who do love us deeply and will speak truth to us when we need to hear it, and being open to hearing it when it's coming from somebody that we really love and admire and respect. All of those have been great ways for me to kind of go, oh, yeah, that is a fear coming up, or that's not necessarily true, or why does
Mhm.
that thing bother me so much? And instead of running from it, lean into it.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I find that so uncommon for people to have that reaction to fear and to the unknown, to sit down and as we say, we often talk about having a cup of Joe with your fear, like, just let's just have a conversation. Like, what is it you're here to teach me? Like, what's the learning that life is bringing to me on this silver platter that looks like fear, it looks awful, but let's just talk, let's just have a conversation and see what's there for us. So that's powerful.
I love that so much. And it's been a pattern that I see over and over. I don't know if you've seen that movie, How to Train Your Dragon.
Hmm.
But I love this scene where he's the dragon, which is kind of
Hmm.
scary, and he doesn't know what's going to happen. And he
Hmm.
kind of is just, and I feel like that's what we do oftentimes in our life when we're taking a big step or something, is just, oh, kind of putting it out
Hmm.
there and facing and realizing when we do that and we really look and stare our fears in the eye, we realize, wow, it wasn't as bad as I necessarily thought.
Yeah.
And being able to offer ourselves so much self compassion along
Yeah.
this journey of for being a human and having these human experiences. And
Mhm.
this is a little bit of a side note, but I feel like it goes hand in hand with what we're doing. I had struggled with chronic pain for 20 years, really bad
Mhm.
headaches, daily headaches, and frequent migraines. And I learned about this concept called neuroplastic pain or mind body syndrome. And so much of it is it's like the fire alarms going off in our brain.
Mhm.
Pain comes from the brain. And so we often think that pain is like a physiological damage. And when things have been going on for a long time and tissues have healed, that's not necessarily the case. And so much of that healing process is leaning into the pain, is
Mhm.
reminding the body we're safe. We're okay. I can feel the discomfort and I'm also okay. And I feel like that's such a key thing for like physical pain, obviously acute pain. Like it's good
Mhm.
to get cleared for infection, cancer,
Right.
fractures, anything like that. Just throwing that out there. But um, these things that go on, or like these big emotions, just being able to hold emotions, to be able to sit with anger, to
Mhm.
be able to sit with fear, all of these big things. And realizing we're widening that window of tolerance. And I feel like that's
Mhm.
what doTERRA does so beautifully for us, if we
Mhm.
allow it, is to grow as a person in so many areas.
Wow. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing this. This is so, so good. I don't know if you've heard of the Essential Emotions book.
It's my
Um,
favorite and the app.
yeah.
I love it so much.
Yes. So that's the intention with the book and the app is just to open up more of a dialogue with all the emotions, good, bad, ugly, like doesn't matter. Just start that conversation with the emotions to see what's there for you. So
Yes.
great tools to start that conversation. And I love that you're encouraging people to get a therapist, get someone, to be a mirror and to be feedback for them. Natalie and I have been so blessed by the life coaches, the business coaches, the emotion coaches, the just energy coaches. Like we have spent so much money, and I do not regret a single dollar because that's the journey. Like that's where the real growth comes when you're open to look at yourself and say, yeah, what's the learning? What's here for me?
It's so true. It's so true. And working on yourself in all of these aspects. Something that I started 4 years ago is strength training and weightlifting. And it was something that really helped to develop my confidence in
Mm,
myself, to feel safe in my body, to have
mhm,
strength. And I see so many parallels in strength training
mm,
and building a doTERRA business.
mm.
They really go hand in, or a weight loss journey and building a doTERRA business, like any of these things. And it is, we joke about it all the time and we say this is a personal development like wrapped up into a compensation plan, but it really is
Yeah,
true.
so
And
true.
each rank, each place in my business has created some growth.
Hmm.
It's cost me something. There was loss, I think, with great transformation. There's also grief and loss, but there's also great, great growth that happens. And I look back and I'm not the same person that I
Hmm.
was. And I know if I would have stayed on the path before, there wouldn't be that change in me of
Yeah,
just becoming a better person is
yeah.
is truly a big piece of what doTERRA does.
Amen. Amen. We have a leader in Australia, Vanessa Jean, who says she doesn't call them rank advancements, she calls them soul advancements.
Ooh.
And I just love that because there's this expanding, there's this, who cares about the volume and the recognition? It's like, no, but it's who you become. There's this journey that's that's so powerful. And I love what you mentioned, the surrender. Natalie and I have noticed that we can look at all of our leaders, especially in that diamond to presidential diamond range, where they had to give something big up, and
Yes.
and there was a surrender. In fact, one of them gave up a whole silver leg. They had to release a whole silver leg before
Mm.
they were able to get to blue diamond, and it was. a huge, huge sacrifice, but it's part of the journey. I love in the Genesis video when Dave Sterling says, in the early days, we were doing it all. We were we were putting labels on the bottles, we were filling the orders, and sacrifice, going without paychecks. Sacrifice was an important part of that journey.
Yes, growth, I say it all the time. Growth is going to cost you something
Yeah.
every time. It's, and the juice is worth the squeeze. It's worth it. It is every time. It doesn't feel like it necessarily when you're going through it, but it's kind of one of the things that I'm so proud of are the calluses on my hands
Wow.
from weightlifting and weight training because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, like something's happening there.
Wow.
And what a beautiful, I love that you shared that of like this person had to give up a silver leg because
Yeah.
I want to normalize that
Mhm.
it's part of it. You're going to have
Mhm.
people leave, people are going to quit. You're going to rebuild legs more than
Mhm.
once. It's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Um, and when we can talk about that in a safe space, then it doesn't throw people for a loop. It's almost like, oh yeah, this is totally part of my journey. And
Mhm.
I I remember reaching the rank of diamond and having just a whole nother understanding and level of respect for diamonds, blue diamonds, presidential diamonds, that there it is. The work on yourself is deep and there's a lot that happens and a lot behind the scenes that nobody even sees, but
Yeah.
it's so so true. It's almost like a birthing process. Like you go
It
through
is.
that and
Yeah.
come out the other side.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Please. Yes.
So, I think you said that your partner is an accountant.
Yes.
I see him featured often in your social media posts. How do you do it? I'm guessing that he's not the one who wakes up and says, Laura, let's do another video or post, right? So how do you get him on board?
Oh, okay. My husband is, he's a beautiful soul. He's a golden retriever in human form. Like he's just a happy, happy soul. I am so grateful for this man. This man has loved me through 18 surgery, all kinds of crazy things in my life.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, he matches my energy.
Hmm.
Like we can be silly, we can play together, we can have fun. And how all of that started, we do these little like Move It Monday videos. And that started because I had a bad interaction. I don't even with somebody on social media. They were really upset about something. And I was like, oh, I have to like shake this off. And so I turned on the music and I was dancing in the living room. And I didn't even know that Mark had come home from work at this moment. And I turn around and he's just dancing with me. And it was one of those really funny, he had no context. He didn't know what I was doing. And he just comes up and dances. This is my husband. And I thought, this is really funny. We should record this. And Mark will now often, believe it or not, he will pick out the songs. He will be like, this will be a
Oh,
really good
fun.
one. He'll send me something and do it. Like sometimes people ask me, Laura, do you do you pay him to do that? I was like, does it look like I forced that man to do this? No. Like he's just here. I am really, really grateful that, and I do believe that who you choose to marry, who you choose to partner with, is one of the biggest life decisions that you
Mhm.
will ever make. And it can be one of the greatest assets in supporting you, or it can be a really challenging thing. They
Yeah.
can really want you to fly, or they can kind of hold you back. And we talk about that a lot, like supportive spouses. It's a really huge thing. Can
Mhm.
you grow without a supportive spouse? Yes.
Mhm.
It will be challenging. And I am so grateful for this man that truly through everything, when a lot of people thought that I was crazy for leaving the PT
Mhm.
profession for doing these things,
Mhm.
he was right there every step of the way with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful tribute. I really encourage everyone to go give them a follow because they are so joyful and you can tell they're just having fun. Like doTERRA does not feel like work when people follow you. So I know
Oh,
there is hard.
thank you.
I know there is struggle and you guys make it fun.
There are times, like I'll tell you, this will be a fun little sneak peek if somebody follows this on social. I had this idea because Mark had the Shimrin Yoku bath bar, and he's been using. I don't know if you guys have tried that yet. It's so good. It's so good, and I've just been smelling him. Like I'll come up and sniff him throughout the day. And I said, we need to do a reel about this of like sniffing. And often I'll get these ideas. I'm like, we need to run with this, and last night it was kind of late and I was like, let's record this. And Mark was like, so there are times when he's like, I don't know about this, Laura. And I was like, I think this will be really fun. Like, just watch me. And we recorded one or two little videos and he goes, okay, this is kind of fun. Like he kind of got into it with doing it. And I was a little kid who loved to make videos. I would make
Okay.
little puppet shows and be very entertaining. So for me, social media and reels is letting my inner middle school child come out and play and do these things. Uh, and I believe that we need to have more joy and
Yeah.
play and fun and silliness.
Amen.
And that if you're feeling stuck in your business, we need to bring in more joy and fun
Mhm.
and silliness with all of
Mhm.
that. It's regulating to the nervous system. It's going to
Mhm.
help in so many ways. So yeah,
Wow.
there's my, and I also think in this day and age, you have to prove you're not a robot.
Yeah, right.
So show
No
up
kidding.
messy, show up.
Yeah.
There was a research study that I saw. Maybe you've heard of this, Andy, where they were selling blenders.
Mhm.
And this woman was like making a smoothie and she poured it out perfectly and she served it to the people. And then they did the same thing but she purposely spilled it.
Hmm.
And they said, which one do you think sold more blenders? And it was the
Hmm.
one where she spilled it.
Oh, wow.
And I think so many times we think we have to be perfect and do everything this way and we can't be silly. And I
Hmm.
think it's okay to be messy. And I will purposely show up on
Yeah.
social messy, no makeup on, to have like conversation because I want to prove to people you don't have to be perfect.
Wow.
Actually, people want to know that you're just a real human who cares.
Yeah, for sure. I love the work of Brene Brown, right? She talks about how
Mm.
vulnerability is what helps people connect. You know, the imperfect it's not our perfection that people connect with. It's our imperfection. So, don't be Teflon. Give them something to stick
I love that.
to. You talked earlier about the first reel where, you had this triggering experience and dancing was very therapeutic. We have found so much therapy from doing Move with Joe. It's this part of the emotions app. And that's the whole idea is just like animals, like after having a strong experience, they shake. It doesn't matter if it's
Mm.
joy or fear or, like fight or flight, but shaking is part of what they do. And there's value. There's value in that. And so we do a lot of somatic work. Um, and that's I love that you mentioned that. So it's reaffirming.
It's so powerful. It is so powerful. I didn't even know that that was part of the app. I'm going to go watch it now and do all the things. I have worked with, I have an amazing virtual personal trainer and she specializes in chronic pain. And we do strength
Mm.
training, but we also do a lot of somatic
Mm.
exercises. And, like if I'm getting ready to do a big deadlift, I'll kind of do some of that somatic exercise to kind of move if I've got jitters or nerves. Or
Yeah.
after this, I go to my somatic experience therapist. Like
Oh, amazing.
we process so much
Yeah.
with our nervous system, and being able to have tools like that
Hmm.
that we can release has been huge. Also, I
Yeah.
think, especially for women, anger. A lot of us are not taught that anger is a safe emotion to be able to
Mhm.
feel. And we often
Yeah.
cover it up with sadness or something else, but
Mhm.
just to be able to um, to allow yourself to feel and experience
Mhm.
things like anger and allow it to pass through you. I strongly think just that would help so much with autoimmune issues and women feeling like they can't speak up or speak their truth or use their voice. These
Yeah.
are really deep things. So I love that we're doing the shaking, we're doing the
Right.
somatic exercises together.
Yeah, totally. It reminds me of the line by Gabor Mate that it's not about getting better at feeling, It's about it's not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling.
Mm,
So
yes,
we
yes.
feel all the feels. Don't label, don't judge the emotions. Just go through the whole feeling and then release. We always talk about releasing to receive. People say, I'm trying to find a new builder. I'm trying to get the new rank. And if they're not releasing, they're not creating space to receive. So releasing is such a crucial part of that.
It is so very true. Yes.
So tell us about your vision for the future. What is it you want to create that you haven't yet?
Oh, I'm going to say this out loud. I love it so
Bring
much.
it.
I really want to solidify diamond and go blue diamond and really moving towards that and taking massive action with that. We're in an unexpected season of growth right now. And that we're partnering with doTERRA Corporate. They're coming to Amarillo, Texas, here in West Texas, which is so awesome. We're doing this big women's health event with Dr. Kelly Lancaster talking hormones, and I'm talking pelvic
Um,
floor. And we have this big, scary goal of having 100 women come and pouring into them and supporting them. So that's the big thing and where we're moving. And um, really, and this is very outside of my comfort zone as an introvert.
uh-huh.
Usually I'm happy to speak. I love when I can show up and, hand me the mic and I'll do the thing. But to be behind the scenes, to be booking the venues, to be doing like all of that. And so I just share, I'm not asking anybody here to do anything that I'm not willing to do or
Yeah,
get very uncomfortable.
I
Um,
love that.
and it's fascinating because for me, I've learned like chronic pain was actually a beautiful gift because it's now my body telling me when I've blown past a boundary or I need to
Mhm.
regulate or I need to process a deep emotion. And it's so interesting to me that as we're working on this event and as these things are coming, I'm feeling it a little bit more in my
Mhm.
body. And so, doing the things like somatic exercises, using our essential oils to help with nervous system regulation, because I realize all of this it's my brain going, is this safe? We're doing this new scary thing. We haven't done this before.
Mhm.
And something that my beautiful account manager, Tina, I love her so much, she said, this is what blues do. And so now when I feel like I want to, and I tell people that feeling that you're about to throw up is a feeling that you're about to make some money. It's the feeling that you're about to do something. So you get your digest zen, touch roller. I'll put it on my tummy. I'll rub it all on. And then we do the thing, right? Mel
Yeah,
Robbins, 5 4 3 2 1 go.
yep, yep.
And so that's my new mantra is this is what blues do. And we
Oh, I love
just
that.
go for it. And it's been a lot of scary things and networking and meeting new people and
Yeah,
trying to find a venue. Um, but there's beauty in that. So it's
yeah.
fun to actually say that big scary goal out loud and share about some of that. Yeah.
How fun. Well, we are cheering for you every step.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
super exciting. Talk to us about finding builders. Is that part of your strategy, or do you just focus on finding customers?
Oh, I focused. This is probably, I would say it's probably the biggest thing that if knowing what I know now, I would go back and tell younger Laura, building doTERRA, you have to talk about the business as much as you talk about the products. And I didn't do that for years. And I attracted a lot of really great customers, which are amazing, and we need them. But I was very fearful. I think I had a lot of limiting beliefs of, like most people do, being
Mm,
salesy, MLMs, people thinking it's gross, blah, blah, blah. And I was late in the game with this and got to go to a retreat last month that was really, really powerful and had some, go to in-person events. Let's start there. Go to
amen.
convention, go to
Amen.
leadership, go to all the things. And I was very grateful that I got to be in the room with the top central leaders. And you need to be around people who are further along than you, who you have a lot to learn. Um, and that was the biggest thing is they just kind of looked at me and were like, Laura, you feel exhausted because you need builders and you need to be talking about the builders. And they were like,
Mhm.
we follow you. You're great at product education,
Mhm.
but you need to be speaking up about the business. And so this is a mindset thing. And this is something that I learned late in the game, probably why it took me so long to reach Diamond, that we're now correcting. And I have since it's been a little over a month, maybe a month and a half since that event. And I have been talking about it a lot. And guess what? I've been launching a lot of new builders and
I
creating
love
new
it.
momentum, and people on my team are enrolling. And it is this huge thing. And so now I'm constantly asking and I'm constantly letting people know, oh, this is an option. And I love saying something like, I'm not sure if this is for you, but there is an option to earn income, to make money, to get your bills paid for or more with doTERRA.
Hmm.
Would you like to explore that? And they say yes or no. Um, and really letting go. I think I used to take everything really personally, like if people told me no or it was rejection. And now I'm like,
Hmm.
no, we're good. But please talk about the business more.
Right.
Do it afraid, do it scared, put your digestion on. Again, if it makes you feel like you're going to throw up, probably this means you're about to make some money and it would be a really good thing to do. So
Yeah,
talk about the business more. People need this. People need this
they
in their
do.
life.
They do. I heard somewhere that a general misconception is that successful people don't feel fear, but the fact is, everyone feels it. It's just whether you act anyways. The Mel Robbins thing, like the fear is universal. Um, it's how you respond to it. So,
There was this reel that I saw recently on Instagram and I loved it so much. And it was this woman cliff jumping.
mm,
And, the guide's right there strapped on with her, and she's getting closer and closer to the edge of the cliff. And you can see the physiological responses in her body. You can hear
yeah,
her breath pick up. You can see the fear on her face. You can see her start to shake, and she's inching
yeah,
closer. And the guy's like, she was like, I'm really scared right now. And he was like, yeah, this is a normal survival instinct.
yeah,
Totally normal. Your brain's kicking
right.
in. It's okay. We're here. And then he tells her, look at the view though. And she like looks up and it's just, oh. And then he's like, I'm not going to push you like when you're ready, but we'll count down from here and then we'll go. And she was like, okay. And it's so cool to watch her go from the scaredest she has ever been
Hmm.
to the happiest, and just
Wow.
how that all clicks in. And I see that so much. And I think about that often in my doTERRA business when there's something that I'm afraid to do or nervous about.
So true. So powerful. Okay, we have a group of people on this call who would love to know more about your event. And I'm sure that even if people can't be there, they would love to help promote it. So
Oh
tell
my
us
gosh,
more.
we would love it. Please come if you can. This is open to all. It's a
Awesome.
women's health event, but men have pelvic floors too. Like we all
Yeah.
like it is open to all. So this is going to be in Amarillo, Texas. It is June 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. It's at Elite Events. And on my social, I have it pinned everywhere on my social, or even if you find me on Facebook, it's pinned like all of the details, all of the stuff there. But please share. We're sending people back to their people. So we'll say, whoever invited you tonight. So if you invite some people and they come, those are your people. And we would love to just come and create community and support. Pelvic floor health is one of those things that I feel like gets lost somewhere a lot, kind of like chronic pain. Like a lot of people, doctors aren't screening for it or checking. It's just different things. And so we're going to give some tools and some help. My goal is always that somebody takes something away from what I share that's helpful, even if they never purchase from me, that I'm providing value and helping there. So yeah, it's on all my social. I'm sharing about it a lot. That's another thing. If you've got events or classes or Diamond Club or Silver Club or whatever, and you don't feel like you should feel like, oh my gosh, I talk about this 24/7. Like you should feel a little tired of talking about your event. Like if you're not sick and tired of talking about it, you're not talking about it enough. Of really like promoting. And I also look at social media as it's an announcement. We have to do those one-on-one invites. We have to send those voice
Yeah.
messages to people and be like, hey, I see you. Come. We need it all.
So true. Events are really the magic part of our business. Like AI may replace a lot of jobs, but it will never replace live events.
This is
And
true.
so let's all lean in. Let's get back to gathering. Let's have real connection, real service. Touching people with the oils is so valuable. Will never go away. So, amen to that. Um, Laura, you are a gifted storyteller. Talk to us about how have you developed that gift and maybe speak to the importance of storytelling.
Ooh, a lot of practice, years of practice. If you go back to my YouTube and it's all there. I leave it there for a reason. You go back to 2016 or you scroll way back on my Instagram, you will see that I was not a gifted speaker and was not very good at storytelling. And it's a skill, just like
Mhm,
anything. It's a skill that we develop to learn how to speak and lean into that. So there's a lot of practice. I love stories or live videos for that because
mhm,
it teaches you how to lean in and correct because if people are recording a video,
mhm,
they'll stop, they'll start over if they mess up. And I really want people to embrace the mess ups because, again, it makes you human and you'll probably get more sales if you make a mistake. So there you go. And lean into the whole process. It was actually a discovery of myself
mhm,
and figuring out some of these things and I also remember because I've had a lot of random medical things and going through those in that moment and being like, I was not, I'm not just going to suffer from all of these things. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to heal. And then I'm going to teach people how to do it. And
mhm,
everybody, I think, has a really powerful story. If we were to go around and hear everybody's stories, my mom also says, like, right, if we all threw our problems into the circle and saw everybody's problems, we would pick our problems back up. We're all walking miracles, and you have a story to share. You
mhm,
have something so profound, and start to share that story.
mhm,
Start to develop that skill. And that may look like doing a 1 minute story on Instagram or doing a quick video. Or I think the more that we can practice that tool
mhm,
and do that with a trusted friend or somebody that can support you or a mentor
mhm,
to be able to share in an authentic way is
mhm.
going to transform your business because
Yeah.
it's exactly what you said. We can tell when it's AI, we can tell when it's
Mhm,
fake, we can tell when people are not being genuine.
mhm,
And I really feel like just like the path of healing is like coming home to yourself, it's very true of doTERRA and leadership. So much of this journey is coming home to yourself and accepting yourself, warts and all, like all the
mhm.
things that
Yep.
it's who you are and it's helped you to get to this place. So practice it, journal it out, write it down, like whatever artistic thing that works for you. But there's something so powerful about being able to speak that into existence. And so I would challenge you to do a
Mhm,
video or do a reel. And and we have these tools. You can use chat and some of these things if you need to in the beginning to kind of be like, this is my story. How do I clear it up? Or how do I tell this in 2 minutes or less?
mhm,
Or it's okay to have notes. It's okay to have things in the beginning. And the more that you practice it, and I would challenge you, the more that you get in front of people
mhm,
to speak. This is what is going to help you become an amazing public speaker. And I heard Eric Worre say recently, how many people on your team would you trust that they could just go up and speak from a microphone on the stage at your company's convention? And he
Oof.
was like, based off of that answer, is like probably how successful he's like, I can guess like how successful or
Wow.
how big that's going to be. And I thought, wow, um, being able to tell your story and public speaking, it is a beautiful, beautiful skill that nobody can take from you. So
Wow.
start to harness in on that. And it is people's deepest
Mhm.
fears. But as we were talking
Yeah.
about, your fears are just stories.
Yeah.
We're going to lean into that.
Wow. So good. Oh, juicy nuggets. I hope everyone's enjoying this as much as I am. Um, well, let's open it up to other questions. Um, if anybody has questions for Dr. Laura, feel free to raise your hand and we can bring you on live. Um, Thank you, Jessica, for posting the details of the event. Somebody asked where the Genesis video is that I mentioned earlier. That's at sharesuccess.com/videos. So go check those out. Those are all of our favorite doTERRA videos. Um, so there's a section on the products, a section on the business, and a section on leaders. So I believe
Mhm.
that one is under business. So go check those out. Um, yeah. Well, somebody did ask a question. How do you launch builders? What would you say there?
Ooh, so this is a great question. What I've started doing, Lindsay Norman has a list of exploratory questions that are so good. And I didn't start there. Before, I was like, great, let's do it. Let's schedule a class. I'll teach it, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have their buy-in. I didn't know like how many hours they're going to commit to this and how my number and strength is activator, which I think is also why I just like jump in and figure things out. It served me
Same
well,
here.
but sometimes I have to go back and be like, whoops. Um, so she has a great list of top 10 questions. Maybe I can pop them. I was hoping I could share, I could pull up, I could just say some of them. So it's like, tell me about yourself. What's drawing you to doTERRA? Have you tried any of the products? What's your experience been? Do you have experience in direct sales? Do you have an
Mhm.
income need? Do you have an income want? How fast do you need to earn this income? If I could wave a magic wand, what would you want doTERRA to do for you? If
Mhm.
this were a fit for you, how much
Mhm.
time would you have for doTERRA? And what questions do you have for me? And she said most people don't spend a lot of time in the exploratory phase.
Mhm.
And I didn't. I skipped it. I just jumped in. I was like, "Great, let's do it." And now I spend a lot of time there because we have to get people's buy-in. We have to know what they're willing to do. We have to be all on the same page. And just really figuring that out has helped me so much. I had people on
Mhm.
my team that I didn't really think want to run. And then they were like, no, I want to go gold. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay. So start there by asking a lot of questions. Get good at asking questions from the get go.
Mhm.
And then I'll take the information that they gave me and I'll start to come up with a plan for them of like a 90-day plan because maybe their goal is they just want to get products paid for. That's going to be
Mhm.
very different than I want to go silver
Mhm.
in, X amount of time, or I need to go gold, or I need to be earning this amount of income and
Mhm.
starting to serve them there. And I also don't think I was doing a good job holding their hand enough because
Mhm.
I didn't have anybody holding my hand.
Mhm.
Nobody taught a class for me. Nobody did anything. I
Wow.
just kind of jumped in,
Wow.
which is good and bad with that. So really being able to come with them and be like, okay, and you're pouring a lot of time into them in the beginning. Like it is a lot, it's a lot of hand holding. Um, but I think I like let go too soon. And so now I'm kind of keeping them a little bit closer of here's the plan. How does this sound? Okay. Here, like at each step, here we go. Getting really good at inviting, writing your hundreds names list, doing some of the things that people are eye rolling and be like, but it actually is really, really important to do, to have that there. And then with all of this, like when they do, and one of my brand new baby builders that I'm launching right now, I'm actually purposely telling her, like, send me screenshots of what people are saying because she's doing it organically. Like, what should I say here? And I can be like, oh, boo, 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 boo. She kind of asked me, she's very high learner and was like, is there just a book that like answers everything about like how I should respond? To like questions in the DMs or these things. And I was like, it's a lot of life experience and figuring things out. And I think this is why it's really good to have a mentor. This is why it's really good to have accountability pods, to have people who are further along than you are to help support you. But I'm learning it's good to kind of take them by the hand and hold them close and pour into them a little bit more and help them have some quick wins, help them earn
Mhm.
something quickly
Yeah.
so they can start to build their belief in this, get them to events, help
Mhm.
them to build that belief in themselves. These are all really key things that I was kind of missing in the beginning that I'm figuring out now as we go
Yeah.
along.
Wow. Amazing. So, so good. Well, I think you have, I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but I've been so, so inspired by your story, your journey, your wisdom. Any parting wisdom for us before we wrap?
Oh, I would tell you, I feel like one of the keys to a happier, healthier life is to have more self-compassion
Hmm.
and to just show yourself so much grace. You're doing new things, you're going to new places that you've never been before. This is a growth period. There is going to be growing pains, all of this. Expect the challenges because they will come and offer yourself so much compassion along the way. I will also say, have office hours. You need to have time when you're not on your phone. You need to, and it's okay to set those healthy boundaries of I answer questions from this day to this time. And the beautiful thing that will happen is people will figure it out. They will
Hmm.
start to use their resources. So yes, we're there and we love on people, but we're not meant to rescue people either. And you know when you need to set boundaries because you probably feel very depleted inside. So take care of yourself too, pour into yourself as well. And like you truly, you are more powerful than you have any idea. And the more that you can start to step into that, um, and really like with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with like pouring into yourself, investing into yourself, like Andy was saying, because
Hmm.
you are the greatest investment you can ever make into all of this. And that ripples down into your team, into your people. All of that is so key. And Andy, I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for holding this sacred
Thank
space. You
you.
and Natalie do so much and
Uh,
pour in. And as someone who didn't have a ton of support, like would really rely and use these things as resources and tools, like you both are such a gift. And I see every time I see you at you and your wife, your beautiful wife at in-person events, you can feel the love and you can feel your connection that you have for each other, that you have for this company, that you have for all of us. We thank you. We're very
thank
grateful.
you. We love this community and we pinch ourselves that this is what we get to do for a living, right? Well, thank
It's
you.
it's amazing.
It is amazing. Yep. Well, thank you again so, so much for sharing so generously of your time. I've been richly blessed, and I hope that we all go back and do a rewatch and another rewatch. It's so, so, so good.
It's an
Well,
honor to
thank
be
you so
here.
much. Sending blessings
Thank
to
you.
you and to everyone. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.